Hello, everyone. Hope uh, everyone's doing well. And as we start this new marking period, again, just be mindful in turning in your work on time, as there are many students who turned in a lot of late work, and it made it really difficult. But yeah, so just remember that if you failed technically, um, second marking period, that you can still make up that work, so that for the third marking period, you can boost your grade and that you would pass for the year. So make sure if you are still missing work that you're turning that in, okay? So for today's do now, which would you rather be, a weed growing on a cliff or a pretty flower in a pot, right? So there's two images, picture flowers on a cliff and then flowers in a pot. So just explain your reasoning with at least 4 sentences. Again, you'll find the do now in the attendance form. So make sure you're filling that out and completing it before 5 p.m. So I thought we could do some vocabulary today, some new words, or at least one new word, shun, which is a verb, and it means to persistently avoid, ignore, or reject someone or something because of dislike or caution. And the past tense form of this is shunned. Someone was shunned from the cafeteria because they brought in, I don't know, Brussels sprouts, right? They can be stinky sometimes. Or, just think of anybody who's been avoided, ignored, or rejected. A lot of times, yeah, a different word you can use is shun or shunned in that context. A review vocabulary word is personification. So that is the attribution of a personal nature or human characteristics to something non-human, or the representation of an abstract quality in human form. And here's an example of that, as there's many words in there. The arrogant shoes mocked all the rest of the shoes still in the closet because they knew they were the best, right? Obviously, shoes can't talk, shoes don't have feelings or emotions. So the arrogant shoes, right? Arrogant is a characteristic given to humans. So we're giving arrogant or shoes the quality of being human, because we're saying the arrogant shoes mocked. Again, the shoes can't do anything. They're an inanimate object, right? So the fact that they mocked the rest of the shoes also is giving human-like quality to the shoes. And they knew they were the best. Again, shoes don't have minds, so they can't know that they're the best. So that's what we mean by personification. You're giving human-like qualities to other non-human objects. So when annotating for literary elements, this is review, I'd like you guys to underline the similes in the poem. So a simile, right, is comparing something using like or as. Draw a box around metaphors. So metaphor, right, is also a comparison of two things. However, it does not use like or as. Let's see an example of that. Love is a train wreck, right? My love, or yeah, their love life is a train wreck. Again, I didn't use like or as. I'm comparing their love life to a train wreck, right? Not good. Underline the first letter of alliteration, right? So when there's multiple words beginning with the same letter, that would be considered alliteration. So we said Sally sells seashells at the seashore. Even though it's a rhyme, again, there's alliteration there as well because many of the words start with the letter S. And then you want to draw brackets around personification, right? Giving inanimate objects human-like qualities. So this is the poem that we're going to be reading. You can read along with me, or you can pause it and read for yourself. So Identity by Julio Noboa Polanco. Let them be as flowers, always watered, fed, guarded, admired, but harnessed to a pot of dirt. I'd rather be a tall, ugly weed, clinging on cliffs like an eagle. Wind wavering above high, jagged rocks. To have broken through the surface of stone, to live, to feel exposed to the madness of the vast eternal sky. To be swayed by the breezes of an ancient sea, carrying my soul, my seed, beyond the mountains of time or into the abyss of the bizarre. I'd rather be unseen, and if then shunned by everyone, than to be a pleasant smelling flower growing in clusters in the fertile valley, where they're praised, handled, and plucked by greedy human hands. I'd rather smell of musty green stench than of sweet, fragrant lilac. If I could stand alone, strong and free, I'd rather be a tall, ugly weed. All right, so that's the poem that we're focusing on today. Again, you can reread it on your own. But after you annotate the poem using the guide that we gave you earlier, which is on your handout as well, you also need to answer some analysis question. So why does the speaker choose to be a weed, right? So there are many qualities of a weed that he would prefer rather than being a flower in a pot. What do the weeds and flowers represent, right? So again, we're giving weeds and flowers, they don't have emotions or the thought process of humans, but they're comparing that to humans. So what do the weeds represent, and then what do the flowers represent in terms of society? And what do you think Julio Noboa Polanco values most in life? So we're trying to get the writer's perspective based on the things that they wrote in their poem. And what did you choose in the do now, a weed or a flower? And do you still agree with your choice after reading the poem? Why or why not? So again, you're going to find that in the same handout. It's going to be on the second page after the poem. And then for your poem writing for today, you're going to be writing an extended metaphor poem. Sorry, I changed that. It's going to be 4 to 5 stanzas. So some of the stanzas can be short. I know some of you guys wrote shorter stanzas in previous poems, and that was not accepted. But for this one, you can write shorter, 2 to 3 stanza, or 2 to 3 verses, or 2 to 3 lines in the stanza is fine. So again, 4 to 5 stanzas, and an extended metaphor just pretty much means you're comparing the two things throughout your whole poem. The first stanza should begin with "let them be," and then whatever you choose. And then the second stanza should begin with "I'd rather be." Okay, so the comparison must be metaphorical. That means you're not writing about actual people. You're comparing people to other things like plants or animals. So a lot of students have had fun with this in the past, and I'm really looking forward to reading your various examples. But if you feel a writer's block and can't get started, here are some potential topics. Let them be an iPhone, dot, 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 because, or I'd rather be an Android. Again, you're explaining the Android or the qualities of that because. Let them be jeans, right? I'd rather be leggings. Let them be a Big Mac. I'd rather be a slice of pizza. Let them be a dog. I'd rather be a cat, right? So think of these animals or objects in terms of qualities, human-like qualities, right? So the slice of pizza might be because you can have many different toppings, or you could be anything you want to be, right? Whereas a Big Mac tends to, it's set. It's there's not much variation that you can go from there. So again, let me know if you guys have any questions. Everything is in the handout. So again, all your writing should be on that. It's due on Friday. And again, a lot of you guys aren't taking advantage of the office hours. So as you've noticed, what I have been doing is one day I give you the assignment, the next day I give you more time to complete it, as well as time to have a video conference with me. So again, sometimes sending messages, you might still not understand. So if we can meet face to face, so to speak, where I can explain it in more in depth, that might be more helpful to some of you. So again, take advantage of those times, and I shall see you all tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.